against FlyQuest because we know this is a team that started off at the beginning of Spring Split 2017 just looking awesome, surpassing everybody else's expectations. But now recently, in the second half of the split, things have been a little rougher for them.
Definitely true. And let's see where they start to target and pick bans. That could definitely give an indicator as to where Moon will go early on. We did talk a little bit about the High Moon combo where they started off the season roaming a lot together. Oftentimes that was towards the bottom lane. And you know, even though DoubleLift is this star who's just shown up versus TSM and everybody's very careful around him, they might actually decide to try and attack the strengths of Team Liquid rather than prey on the weaknesses instead. So far though, Lucian's banned out. Y'all know that is targeted at the pocket pick coming back.
But they're also going to be targeting the Olaf from ReignOver. They saw how he was able to dismantle TSM with that yesterday. So they were like, you know, we don't want to lose the first game based on the Olaf and then realize to ban it. So we're just going to ban it at the start. Graves also banned away from him as the top lane's targeted by Liquid.
Exactly, and the Graves as well, another ban right there at ReignOver, who had a lot of very good games on Graves earlier in the split, and don't want to let him get that away. So very quickly, they will try and pinch that jungle role here for Moon. He's very confident on the Rengar, and has spoken about it quite often. And with the Olaf and Graves already banned out, they are really shrinking the pool for ReignOver as far as champion select here. Definitely expect Liquid at some points in the first round, these first 3 picks, to grab a jungler. They don't need to do it in the first 2 though. And can grab up the high priority Lulu that everybody's after.
Yeah, taking the Rengar first when you're on the blue side means you do leave that Lulu open. Everybody's going after this pick these days, and Team Liquid going to be more than happy to pick that one up. It's actually in the series they played yesterday against Team Solo Mid. It was Lulu games that they won both of, and the one game they didn't have Lulu was the one they lost.
Interesting correlation. Lemonnation is always, though, one of those support players that not phased by any meta picks or any of the standard ones. So we'll see what he draws out here. Maybe it'll be something, you know, more oddball, or it could just be a super standard. Karma or Nami are the 2 main picks people usually use into the Lulu. Zyra, not oddball at all. It is kind of a Lemonnation classic along when he used to play with Sneaky, though, the original AShe-Zyra combos a couple years ago.
Well, we're not going to see the Ashe with the Zyra today, but Caitlyn's going to be locked in for Altec, and that'll be the bot lane and jungle combination picked up before the second half of bans arrive here for FlyQuest.
Caitlyn definitely a big part of why he didn't have any deaths earlier in their matchup versus FlyQuest as well. You know, full range, shoving the lane, can do a very similar thing here with Zyra that she can do with Lulu as well. So Zyra, Caitlyn, extremely long range bottom lane. FlyQuest are very clearly, you know, trying to have a good lane base for themselves early on and not let DoubleLift get off the ground too quickly. He will be piloting the Ashe though, so watch out for the arrows.
Going into the second part of the banning phase, we're also going to be looking at strictly solo lane bans. Both teams still got to pick the top laners, still got to pick the mid laners. So we'll have to see what they decide to target before anything else. Orianna banned away by Liquid, while FlyQuest takes the Vlad off the table.
Yeah, and just a little refresher for you guys. Piglet did play 3 Taliyah games versus Team Solo Mid yesterday, so maybe he will go back to the champion, see if he feels comfortable on it or not. So far, Vladimir and Orianna, 2 of the highest priority go-to mid lane picks.
Gragas taken out for the top side from Team.
Now, if I see a Gragas ban, I'm very scared of an early Nautilus. I feel like Nautilus is super strong up there with the Shen, Rumble, and Gragas all banned out. Maybe they actually will throw a ban here at Lourlo. Lourlo, one of his best champions, and by far his most played champion at least, is Nautilus.
Well, FlyQuest, you got 4 seconds to make the choice. There you go, agreeing with Kobe. They recognize the plan, they take that off the table, but now Team Liquid's got their choice to find something else here. Gonna go ahead and look towards that Maokai, pick up the big tank in the top lane, and leave the counter pick available for Piglet.
Gonna be able to grab that up. Next best thing here. Maokai still scales very well into the late game, and Team Liquid's composition at the moment is looking very standard team fighting. They do have the options of getting, you know, picks or just starting off fights with the Ashe Arrow. Lourlo will be very happy to lead the front line, whereas FlyQuest a little bit more about opening up some room on the map with early tower pushing and Rengar to be able to work between lanes and pick people off.
Renekton being locked in, always real deadly, real scary as well, especially if you're just an Ashe hanging out, trying to have a good time, farm some lanes, and Renekton jumps on you. But
or even a Maokai looking to get bullied a little bit in lane. Let's see if Balls can actually pressure Lourlo in this matchup. They have had a couple of DPS champions for Balls before. The Rumble, he has had his ups and downs on this time around, but the Camille definitely a bit more of a struggle for him. We'll see how I can do on the Renekton here. A lot of early power, a little bit less scaling for himself though, as far as the front lines standing toe-to-toe go.
Just a little bit. Liquid gonna be hovering over that Taliyah. It didn't go well for them in the 3 games yesterday, but they're gonna go for it again here, taking that up against the Viktor for high.
And there we go, right back to the similar champion. One thing when you do switch roles, it always is nice to repeat champions, right? It is always, you know, at the very beginning when he moved over to mid lane, everyone's like, oh my God, he's just playing all these champions.
Yeah,
people
5 games, 5 champs, what is this?
But a little bit more consistency, you might see some more of those incremental improvements where you don't have to think so much about the individual champion you're playing, can work more with team play. It also does open up the roaming aspect. We always talk about High trying to roam from the mid lane. Now he's actually the wave clear Viktor here. And Piglets, if Piglet especially does get some jungle attention on Taliyah, you always set up Taliyah as a possibility of using that Weaver's Wall offensively to these side lanes.
That said, one of the criticisms of Piglet yesterday was the fact that he was not able to find a lot of successful roams on the Taliyah. Generally, it is one of the reasons that you pick the champ. 4 times the charm, exactly. Yesterday, that was the warm-up match. This is the one that's for all the marbles. This is the one that gets you out of the promotion tournament. This is the one that Team Liquid needs to win. And for what it's worth mentioning, it's not just Liquid's fate that's on the line here. We talked about FlyQuest's role potentially changing depending on who wins the Immortals match. But it's also this match that's going to determine the fate of Echo Fox, because if Liquid's not safe from the promotion tournament, Echo Fox is. So Echo Fox is really hoping that FlyQuest wins this game.
A lot of eyes on this set, and we'll get right into game number 1 to get this one kicked off.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, on to Summoner's Rift for the first time in this best of 3. One of the final series of regular play for Spring Split 2017. FlyQuest out the gate, Liquid the same. Liquid moving 3 bodies there into the bottom lane. Might be looking to set up a surprise brush if Lemonnation tries to get those seeds too far forward.
Definitely a possibility.
They did this yesterday too.
Yeah. Let's see if they actually get something from it here. Sneaky, sneaky.
Into the brush they go. All right, there's the volley saying, hey, it's just Ashe and Lulu here. Don't mind us.
Lemon knows that something is amiss.
All right, they don't end up walking too close to it, or
Plant some
do
more.
they?
Ooh.
Okay.
It's not going to be enough to kill him or anything. He actually didn't turn around and throw any spells because he was a little bit worried about the offensive flash and ignites and stuff coming in to try and kill him. Sometimes you'll see the support a little bit greedy, turn around to get your Spell Thief's procs.
Yeah.
That scenario.
Decided against it, though.
Decided against it. Probably for the better.
Look at that fan vote, Kobe. Team Liquid fans out in force today. 75% of people think that Liquid is walking away with the win here. And that's surprising, considering, like we mentioned earlier, FlyQuest was a team in the first half of this split that looked so good, and then things have just been slowly declining for them over the course of the second half of the split.
True enough. We're going to start here with the Rengar Raptor starts. No problem with the small ones. You get his level 2 off there. Does take quite a bit of damage nowadays, though.
Nobody doing any cheeky stuff trying to steal away the tiny ones either. Sometimes we are seeing that these days. The mid laner tries to walk over and just grab one of them to mess up your level 2, but High and Piglet both more concerned with each other at this point in time.
High going for some offensive trades pretty early on. No surprise there. We'll see if either of the junglers actually do visit mid early on, though, because this is definitely one that can be swayed fairly heavily. And as we said, mid laners, especially High for his team, has been very crucial to how FlyQuest operates.
Seems like every single time we have a conversation about FlyQuest, High is always immediately brought up because of how important he is to this team.
I mean, he's one of the members who brought this team from Challenger into the LCS, along with Lemonnation, Altec, and Balls. Moon then joining as contracts moved up. And he's always been the captain, the shot caller. Definitely a focal point here. People are wondering, are they going to target Piglet and try and prey on this role-swapped laner? At the moment, though, we just see Moon returning to his blue side.
Targeting Piglet's definitely a strategy that can work. I mean, you don't exactly have to not fight dirty. If you know the guy's switched roles recently, you can go after him. You can try to take advantage of that. Use everything possible to win the game.
Big smile on your face when you say that. You're one of the, oh, I didn't know you were AFK. Sorry, I had to kill you.
Yes, whoops.
Thought you were baiting me
Whoops.
there. Always ready to take advantage. See if they are actually able to do it, though. Early recall there from Lemonnation.
Oh, Lemonnation going to be first blood, and Matt and DoubleLift just take him down 2v2.
So, about that Caitlyn Zyra long range pushing.
Yeah.
This is going very poorly for the FlyQuest bottom lane, to say the least. And DoubleLift, once again, off to a magnificent start. Actually, the CS will get even worse here. It was a big wave that was sitting in that lane. They're going to shove it up pretty quickly here. And Altec by himself is trying to CS, but there's no way he does catch up and make up all of those 20 almost CS that he is down to DoubleLift in addition to the kill. At least 4 FlyQuest that went over to the support. Meanwhile, Moon trading with ReignOver here.
Jungler fight 1v1. Moon healing himself back up a little bit. Both of them going to take a little bit of pain, but they'll walk away.
Dance it off. He's able to walk out here. Does have a control ward. Decent amount here for Piglet as well, though. Protecting his mid lane.
Yeah, the CS across the board, well, not across the board, but at least in the solo lane board, looks good for FlyQuest. But then that bottom lane that you brought up
don't
is
forget
just
a bottom
the
lane
opposite story.
Everybody's well aware that the power for Team Liquid is sitting in the bottom lane. Lemonnation, actually, speaking of the bottom lane, rotating up here towards middle. Matt finds him out.
Matt gonna shut that down real quick. Not allow him to make any sort of a surprise play there onto the mid lane, but there's that targeting that we were talking about. There's going after Piglet. You're saying, you know what? We died 2v2 against DoubleLift and Matt. Let's just go ahead and walk up here, see if we can change the plan up a little bit. Sadly for them, they won't be able to find that success. Lemonnation walks himself back to safety in the bottom lane. But it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in Champion Select. That's why the Lulu is so good for this team. When you are depending on DoubleLift to be this carry, to be this victory condition, Lulu is awesome.
Yeah, and it is a bit weird that FlyQuest went for the first pick Rengar. Yeah, they have had a high priority on it for Moon, but in addition to really playing to Team Liquid's strength of DoubleLift there and being able to buff him up, it also does a lot to shut down the Rengar pick itself, especially if he doesn't get off to a super early lead, and Matt can time his ultimate well. Can do a lot to shut him down. We shall see, though.
Yeah, neither jungler really off to anything too fast so far in this one. 6 minutes into the game, all we really saw was that little bit of a 1v1. Hai using the Chaos Storm mid lane to just sort of force Piglet back, clear out the wave a little bit, maintaining that CS lead still, but with very low mana and only half HP, he's going to be heading back.
Yep, looking for his recall here, able to get a good timing now because of the ultimate. Meanwhile, on that bottom side, a little bit of a snare onto DoubleLift.
Ooh, a lot of damage onto him. Heal's going to be forced out to prevent that headshot from being lethal, but very nice trade from Lemon and Altec.
Stabilizing a little bit is good news for the FlyQuest members. DoubleLift and Matt have to be fairly careful. I don't think they've had vision of Moon recently, and if the Rengar is down on the bottom side, you know, going for that control ward kill is very risky. So you see they wait for ReignOver to come down before they start pinging onto it. ReignOver now going to lend some support to this side of the map, and maybe they can actually make something happen. I do like Team Liquid playing off their strong side here.
Oh, here we go. Jungler 1v1. Both of them have ults. Flash over the wall from Moon. ReignOver going to be chasing after him with the leap. Now pops his own flash. One more Q's going to do it. ReignOver looking for the damage. Got it! The Void Spike finds the first blood, and Liquid's actually going to get themselves another.
Yeah, hindsight 2020, but this
not the first blood, the second blood.
Rengar picked awkward. Yeah, they've got all 3 bloods.
There's a lot of bloods on the table, and I mistook the first one for the second one, but it's still bloody, and it's all for Team Liquid.
Number 1, 2, and 3, all on the bottom side of the map. ReignOver invading over there. Ooh, able to get that red right before a quick escape into the Infernal. What a jungle combo there, Captain.
Absolutely, the Blast Cone and the Red and the Drake all working together, and Team Liquid is finding some awesome success so far. Even the Drake RNG is on their side. Cash in on that juicy bonus damage as their very first one, only 8 minutes into the match.
All right, let's take another look here as the defensive vision you can see from FlyQuest is placed in that bush along the mid lane. And the only problem with that pink ward there, the control ward, is that you don't see the top edge. If the jungler, enemy jungler invading hugs that wall on the ramp into your jungle, it won't see them. That's exactly what ReignOver did. Was able to sneak into the red quadrant here and catch Moon unaware. Kha'Zix obviously does very well if you walk into his brush, nice and isolated.
Yeah, it's just kind of setting him up exactly where he wants to be, and the Kha'Zix ulti works a lot better in a 1v1 than the Rengar ulti does, unless you're just going to insta-nuke somebody.
Definitely true. Balls goes for the steal, a little bit too slow though, and ReignOver still one step ahead here, also one level ahead now after the kill.
Those evolved claws, he's very ferocious in the 1v1s and the small skirmishes. Pretty much anywhere that he can get that ISO damage, he is going to be a problem. Moon, 0, 1, and 0, hasn't really been able to utilize that ultimate to find anything yet. Which, if you're looking for the high Moon combination to make the plays, is kind of a problem.
Yep, definitely a kicker that not only did he die there, but also used his ultimate in vain, trying to escape, taking a little bit of the counterplay off. Now it's back up though, Captain. See if he can try and make something happen. I don't think he's going to want to focus bottom side though, as Team Liquid are just dumping all their resources down there. DoubleLift and Matt earned their own lead first, by the way, then called ReignOver down to really play off of that.
DoubleLift and Matt continuing to shove up down here, continuing to maintain that CS lead they had earlier. Piglet's now looking to make the rotation down. They've got ReignOver here too. This is going to be a 4v2 dive. Moon might be able to make his way down to try to save him, but I don't know if it's going to end up working out. Matt going to be soaking the turret damage, gets himself away. Lemon and Altec making all kinds of outplays. Ace in the hole, blocked by DoubleLift, but Moon's coming in with revenge on his mind. And DoubleLift on the ground. ReignOver goes down next, and FlyQuest will tie this one up. 3-2.
Holy moly! That could only have gone worse if Piglet also had died there. All the flashes burned from Team Liquid, all the deaths coming through from Team Liquid. First turret is now going to go to FlyQuest, and holy moly, the bottom lane hold that they had on this game just explodes in their faces.
That was the worst outcome ever. That was just not okay. Team Liquid with the botched dive.
All right, let's take another look at the start here. Matt is the one with the aggro here. Flashes still in turret range with the ignite on him. It was a good snare there by Lemon. Good zoning as well. They still had the heal, and none of the Team Liquid champions are particularly great tower divers. None of them can drop aggro without getting all the way out of range, and none of them got out of range except for Piglet, so he was the only one to live.
And you know what's funny? DoubleLift was being a top-level team player by flashing to save ReignOver, and they still both died, and he might have got away if he didn't do that.
He definitely would have got away if he didn't do that.
Sometimes you got to throw your teammates under the bus.
Yeah, sometimes you got to cut him loose. No saving him. Yeah, but using his flash forward there to try and take the shot, he did save him for a few more seconds. A couple more seconds of beautiful life to live in the bottom lane. Top side though, quick switch here from the Zyra Caitlyn combo. No surprise, bottom turret is dead. They want to keep those bottom turrets chaining. This is how they would have wanted to play the game if they hadn't lost bottom lane so heavily, you know, early on, just straight up in the 2 versus 2. Right. And because of that missed dive by Team Liquid, it's kind of righted the ship here for a FlyQuest, and now they're poised to actually, you know, not only take some early turrets, but also even contest the next Infernal Drake that comes up, which could have been a huge snowball. Oh, they are
DoubleLift with a nice shot. ReignOver's there to make sure that it counts all the way to the spawn platform. That's where High's going to be in 30 seconds from now, but Team Liquid with a nice pick.
Yeah, cross map here from DoubleLift. Very nice shot there. Able to find High and get the kill. Now he gets the farm on the bottom side as well. The question is, will Team Liquid be able to turn this top pressure around on FlyQuest? Second best thing is just to defend the turret so they don't lose anything, because DoubleLift is farming in the bottom side right now and getting some extra CS for himself. Stack that right on top of the lead he already had. Should be feeling very confident.
Getting close to that Blade of the Ruined King, too. A lot more people building that after the changes that were made to the item. Extra AD, less attack speed, extra lifesteal.
Just great for an early spike for an AD carry. And a lot of the success of the AD carry role has been when early builds are at their best. Lethality was first buffed, that was the best. Blade of the Ruined King now more flat damage rather than attack speed, which is more of a scaling stat. And we shall see if they actually try and answer this with anything besides Lourlo. They aren't moving to put DoubleLift up there. They're just sending DoubleLift back down there to farm up bottom lane. And with the constant shields from Matt and self-healing from Lourlo, they're able to hold this top side. So Team Liquid doing a good job of not panicking after that dive went wrong, stabilizing a bit here. But again, that crucial second Infernal Drake that we mentioned is definitely within FlyQuest territory at the moment.
15 seconds from now, it's going to be up. High does have the ability to clear these waves very effectively now on the Viktor.
Very true. You do want to slip over to the mid lane, push the wave, and then transition back into this vision. The Ashe arrow's back up for DoubleLift, so the pick is definitely a possibility for Team Liquid here.
You got to be careful about fighting in some of these skinny pathways, these choke points too, up against FlyQuest. FlyQuest with the Zyra, the Viktor, all these different tools that can really punish you hard in those kinds of situations.
Yeah, even the Caitlyn traps, walling off a couple of those corridors, playing the Peacemaker on through.
And honestly, the FlyQuest team can do a lot to counter-engage if Liquid botches going in. You saw it bottom lane, but Strangle Thorns, Gravity Wells, Chaos Storms, there's a lot of things that can just be unloaded by FlyQuest that makes Team Liquid have to thoroughly consider going in.
Definitely true. Gonna have to dodge that arrow first. Hope that you don't get 100%ed within the stun. All right, Lemon, you're up. Are you gonna dodge it?
Here it goes.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
he dodges it. He walks to the right, and that gets him away.
We got a golf clap from the audience there as well.
Yeah, a fine
Fancy
play.
Mobility boots will help out with that.
Lourlo still hanging out in the top side. TP ready to go. Balls, Proxy in the wave. Both of these two ready to get themselves down here at a moment's notice should the Infernal Drake fight break out, but the Vision is the name of the fight for now.
Let's see, Balls shoves the wave, just as he said, takes it out very quickly, and now rotating. If they actually get vision of the Piglet recall, that, I don't think they got vision, he was around the corner. But they could still go for it. Not seeing Piglet at the turret. Yeah, start up that Infernal Drake. Balls is already here. And Team Liquid would be playing catch-up if they really wanted to contest this. Yeah. Now the question is, does Balls get back to top lane in time?
Lourlo's not exactly the most damaging top laner for a turret.
Sunfire or Bami Cinder does not exactly burn down stone. So.
Nope, doesn't work that way. Balls dashes himself over the wall. Blast cones himself just a little bit further. And he'll get back there easily in time. He's actually got the biggest CS advantage on the map right now. His is even greater than DoubleLift compared to Altec, farming up over Lourlo, over 30 compared to his opponent. Black Cleaver now done too, so very scary Croc.
Very scary Croc in a very scary position. Can he 2v1 though, Captain Flowers?
Well, I guess we're gonna get to answer that question right now. ReignOver jumping in, Balls trying to get himself out, popping the heal, trying to get out. The Call the Meek keeping him alive for just a moment, but Piglet says 2v1's not even the name of the game. We're gonna make it 3, and Balls falls.
With the turrets very low though, let's see about the counterplay here from FlyQuest. Mid lane, they might decide to try and shove on DoubleLift. He's doing his best to clear out the wave here first with the volley, but I don't know if that will deter Lemon and High. Couple of shots. Team Liquid do finally claim their prize of the top turret.
There we go, gonna bring the game back within just a couple hundred gold. Both these teams just going blow for blow for blow for blow. And nobody is actually getting super far ahead just yet.
All right, DoubleLift looks like he's trying to aim.
Oh, just slightly off. Piglet gonna be targeted now. Ace in the hole connects. Chaos Storm comes out. High to scare these guys away long enough for them to take down the turret, and that's gonna be FlyQuest's number 2.
Top as well is super low, so number 3 might be short to follow. This is another look at that gank from ReignOver. Just walked right through the tri-bush. Talking about, do they need Piglet? give it a safety yes. Probably didn't necessarily, wasn't mandatory for him to join that, but 100% secure it a little bit quicker, and ensure that they are able to take the turret afterwards. So Team Liquid, as you said, pretty much right back in there as far as the stand-up gold is concerned. And now the question becomes, Ashe Arrow into Taliyah, are they going to be able to pick someone off? You also have to watch for deep wards. Teleport from Maokai can hold someone in place, make the arrow a lot easier to land.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that they might be able to set it up. They've just got to make sure that they go through all the proper steps to enable one or more of those ways, so they can get the fight the way they need to get it, as opposed to another one of those sort of forced scenarios like we saw bottom that FlyQuest is then able to punish. Now Liquid moving onto the tier 1 turret bottom side. Focus Fire putting some decent damage into that, but Altec will be able to clear out the wave in time to keep it alive. And by the way, Kobe, we are having the best possible Drake RNG, because third Infernal is going to be coming up with number 3, so that should be even more stuff for these teams to fight over.
All right, well, both top laners are equipped with teleports, as we mentioned, so they could stay up there pushing the waves until the dragon spawns. 1 more minute. Lourlo's doing a good job killing the minions before they get to the turret, so Paul still has not been able to get any more damage on it, even though it's been sitting at exactly 1,018 health. Actually, not that low.
It's lower than they'd like it to be, but it's not so low that it's just going to fall over if you look at it wrong. But as close as it might be or might not be, Balls is still not getting it any closer anytime soon, with Lourlo constantly standing in the way like that. Ninja Tabby and Sunfire Cape is enough to clear out the waves very effectively and also resist the damage that Balls is doing to him, to the point where he's not afraid of hanging out away from the turret. He's not really that scared of Balls, even though he's got the Black Cleaver and the Tiamat.
Yeah, trading farm with Maokai is definitely Maokai favored here this stage in the game. And you get a little panicky as Renekton. You're like, oh, he's going to outscale me. He's going to get super tanky. I got to do something. And we'll see if FlyQuest are able to actually create any action. 1 minute, 45 seconds left on that Infernal Drake to come up. They're laying the vision now, preparing for the bottom section fight.
And you know, FlyQuest is a team that earlier on in the split, we were talking about how much crazy plays they did and all this ridiculous coordinated stuff and High and Moon and the shot calling. And this game, they've just been kind of taking it a little bit easier. But you can see right there, the stats on your screen, FlyQuest with a lead at 20. A pretty good sign.
Yeah, definitely always have to take team compositions into account, especially with looking at those stats. This time around, super deep vision for FlyQuest all over this blue quadrant. So they definitely have a little bit more fog of war to work with. Team Liquid has to be fairly careful about transitioning through their lanes to try and go farm. At the moment, though, they're very happy to continue to just trade farm with FlyQuest here.
ReignOver's Kha'Zix also evolving the Spike second, as a lot of Kha'Zixes have started doing in Spring Split 2017. The extra slow, the extra rockets, extra. Generally makes for a very nice poke mechanism, team fight mechanism, disengage mechanism. You can do all sorts of utility-based stuff with it.
Definitely gives you more options, because it's still pretty good in 1v1 or isolated scenarios. Because you do get that giant slow if they're isolated. However, here comes the Drake, and here comes the fight. Ball's looking to teleport.
ReignOver got himself in a bit of a shaky spot there for a second. Gets away without taking too much extra damage from it. Acing the hole onto Piglet to scare him back.
Yeah, FlyQuest actually getting a decent health lead here, preparing for the fight. Damage on a couple of the members that don't get it back very easily here. ReignOver and Piglet with a decent little chunk there. Piglet starts chugging. Gets some of his health back. ReignOver goes into the jungle to get his.
Altec setting up that trap line as well to make sure that if Liquid does decide to pull the trigger, they've got a wall to go through if they want to get there. Lourlo not really too concerned about the damage coming his way, but has to be careful that he doesn't soak too much of it.
All right, those jungle corridors you caution Team Liquid against. We'll have to keep an eye here as they're looking to route around rather than funnel through.
Wall of space cupcakes laid down at the entrance to the Team Liquid jungle. FlyQuest saying, nope, can't come through that way.
They made it all the way around.
The Drake's been started up. Lourlo gonna be the one tanking it. Rengar ulti pop. FlyQuest looking to make this happen. Piglet with the ulti in the middle of the fight, but Moon's going to be trying to go around from behind, going to be forced off. ReignOver looking to take him down if he can. The damage coming out. One more hit would do it. He's not going to find it. Instead, it's now going to be Balls jumping into Team Liquid. He's taken down instantly. High's going to be stunned up. Stranglethorn's trying to shut down the fight. Matt works his way in the pit, only to be killed by Altec. It's 1 for 1 so far. Neither team has found the Drake, and this is just chaos.
High's out of mana now, though.
ReignOver trying to secure this Drake if they can. This is what Infernal Drakes do to teams, Kobe. They're not willing to walk away. They grab it. ReignOver's going to be killed for it, though. Altec gets the kill, but they lose. They're all... I'm trying to see who they lost. There's so many dead bodies. I'm like, wait, who's dead? Who's actually flashing? No, it's Lemon for ReignOver at the very end.
Pick them all up, Captain.
Put them all in a big bucket.
The biggest thing, though, the reward of the Infernal Drake, the last Infernal Drake that we will see, because only 3 of the same type can spawn in a game, does go to Team Liquid. And with the kills being fairly close there, as far as ones traded over, definitely a victory here for Team Liquid. Moon engages on the top side here, has to flash that wall, but ReignOver, right on his heels, actually gives up the chase here as he sees the bottom lane coming to protect him, and I think his eyes are already towards his Drake. This is where it turns actually poorly for Team Liquid. Matt flashes into the Drake, gets hit by that Peacemaker as well at the same time, and is instantly out of the fight. If not for that, Team Liquid would have had an even bigger victory here. But FlyQuest stick around to try and poke them at the objective. Altec being very annoying, putting those traps down to try and zone ReignOver, and Lemon moves in for the snare. They get 1 kill, but Lemon gets shot here. And the end is ReignOver gets him with a Q as well to trade his life in the end.
That's why I love Infernal Drakes, because you don't do that for a Cloud Drake.
True, that's very true.
Those are the kind of Drakes that make the fun stuff happen, but sadly we don't get to see any more of them this game. You can only have 3 of one kind every game. I wish you could have like 5 or 6 or 7 of them. That's just not the way the game is built. Next Drake is going to be Mountain, though. That's still pretty desirable.
With 7 Infernal Drakes.
Yeah, that would be
those numbers.
A balanced gameplay interaction right there. But with the Infernal Drakes now done, a 2-to-1 lead in terms of those for Team Liquid. Mountain Drake going to be coming up next. And, of course, Baron is live 25 minutes into the game. Team's going to be needing to pay some more attention to that. As we get deeper and deeper into mid-game, you can see a lot of pings coming out on that northern river.
Yeah, doing a little bit of vision work here for Team Liquid. As far as Team Liquid as well, I mean, we set up that Piglet had not been doing well, you know, in the recent series, and he was playing a bunch of Taliyah. This time around, even though he lost his turret fairly early due to a lot of pressure from FlyQuest, keeping up just fine with the CS. He had not 1, not 2, but 3 roams on the Taliyah fairly early, and even though it was a huge part of the plays for them, definitely more of a presence. And High actually, Piglet flipped him in there. That was a Piglet move.
Piglet taking advantage of what's going on. High grabs the kill onto Matt. All right.
Chaos Storm indeed.
All planned. All planned.
Somehow Matt always just ends up dying. Whatever play is going on. It's like, oh,
Matt finds a way. Team Liquid, a good toss from Piglet, but High almost taken down, but gets himself out. The master calculations provide the kill for himself, brings this game up to 6-7, and FlyQuest, although they're down in kills, their lead in turrets and in farm brings them to about a 3,000 gold lead.
All right, 3,000 gold lead, bunch of wards in the Team Liquid side of the jungle as well. Should be able to set them up for some Rengar play. The Rengar, honestly, has not been the star of the show for FlyQuest.
No, not at all. 1-1-2 compared to his opponent, who's 4-2-0. That's just a lot of work being done by ReignOver, and not as much being done by Moon. Arrow comes out. Altec barely getting out of the hitbox from that one. Stranglethorn's going to be finding Piglet. Lemonnation looking to drop some more plants as well. Threaded volley coming back in onto him. Balls over the wall, looking to maybe grab somebody if he can. Moon into the fight. There comes your laser, but Balls is going to be bursted down very, very rapidly. DoubleLift grabbing the kill on that one. Team Liquid takes advantage of the fact that Renekton is not as tanky as some other top lane.
There's no way that he does become as tanky as Maokai, and that's the kind of panic in lane we were talking about before. As a Renekton, if you're not getting some early advantages, the tree will grow up to be a little bit stronger. very hard to burn through him, whereas Balls gets melted pretty quickly here, and that leaves Team Liquid with some map control for once. They're trying to get some vision back. They've got Piglet split pushing on the bottom side to get one of the outer turrets down for themselves. Starting to turn it a little bit back in their favor. High gonna walk right into said Lourlo.
Base checks Lourlo.
Hey.
Lourlo's not in a spot to do anything about it. Gonna be chased down. Altec and Fly both on the hunt. A little bit more damage will do it, and High grabs the kill. Now FlyQuest looking for more control over the Baron area. A little gymnastics there from Moon, jumping into the blast cone. And
it'd actually be cool if you could change directions off of the blast cone, because if he could hop to the blast cone and Q to go the other direction,
so that you jump onto it and then you Q and he does this really weird animation.
Then he could have jumped over to ReignOver, but that's not the case. Using your Q just cuts it a little bit short there.
Extreme.
Good attempt though, I like it. You test out the gymnastics.
Well, at least he looked cool doing it. Getting on a little bit tankier for himself now. Spectre's Cow built as the third item after the Black Cleaver.
Yeah, as far as we're going over items as well, definitely need to check in on the Caitlyn scaling, because we always mention that sort of awkward period between her flat attack damage, early laning phase where you can chunk down these turrets, and trying to build up your crit multipliers. Now, finally, at least onto the 2 item crit multipliers plus the cheap little last whisper there, so you can actually put a dent in the Maokai. This is where Caitlyn starts to feel better and better and better. That being said, DoubleLift is not feeling too shabby himself with the Ashe. 3 items completed for himself. Also has his multipliers starting to come through.
Yeah, he's not slacking anywhere either. Infinity Edge and Runance for both. Played the Ruined King that we mentioned earlier, completed on the side of DoubleLift. ReignOver trying to start up this Mountain Drake, but with FlyQuest moving towards it, he's going to go ahead and back away from that one, decide for the Scuttle Crab instead. It's a little less intimidating than the Dragon. Just a little.
I don't know. The Scuttle Crab sneak up on you.
To be fair, though, I think having a Scuttle Crab like randomly juke my skill shots has been more tilting than any Drake has ever been. So Scuttle Crab can be a scary guy sometimes. But Mountain Drake's going to be secured. Team Liquid ends up grabbing themselves that one. Goes up to a 3-to-1 Drake advantage. They're going to have extra objective control through that. And they end up taking it at a time where the next one is going to be just past the Elder Timer. The last Elemental Drake we're going to see this game. And that Elder buff, the bonus that they would get from that, is going to be very potent for Liquid this game.
Definitely could be, and Team Liquid are set up really well, actually. The next pick that they make could really blow the game wide open. I mean, they've got Ashe Arrow, Taliyah, Maokai, everybody's ready, for this initiation. They're trying to find a pocket of Fog of Ward of Fire from. FlyQuest do still have a couple lingering, though, that have spotted them.
And I mentioned it earlier, but it is really surprising to see how safely FlyQuest are trying to play this. Like, they're not going for those crazy do-or-die type moments. They're not trying to just say, okay, look, this game's going to be something ridiculous, and it's going to happen, and there's going to be a fight that's going to be right here. Everything's a bit more methodical this time around. Team Liquid decides to start up Baron.
You mentioned some chaos. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Team Liquid burning it down real fast. They've already got it. The zone away from Piglet, utilizing the Weaver's Wall, making sure FlyQuest can't get in there. Now they're going to try to get the inside track here onto the Tier 2, at least get a consolation prize, but Liquid now armed with Baron. Very scary.
Yeah, very nice cutoff there from Piglet. The double Infernal plus Mountain. Kill time on Baron becomes very trivial, and FlyQuest, not enough respect there, keeping enough members around to contest it. That is back-to-back neutral objectives just snatched up by Team Liquid. And without too much answer here from FlyQuest, they do get a couple of turrets, so some gold to work with, but I definitely value the longer-lasting effects of these Drakes as well as Baron buff for Team Liquid. We'll see what they can do with it. DoubleLift currently split pushing, so FlyQuest, if they're feeling antsy here, they might try and force something away from DoubleLift. But all the recalls would suggest otherwise. The Baron-empowered pushes are too quick for them to catch up.
Yeah, the Baron-empowered push, now the name of the game. Getting Baron is great, but getting 4 or 5 turrets off the back of it is even better. Team Liquid still has about 2.5 minutes left. You can see the Baron buff timer there in the top right part of your screen. That tells us just how long they can still work with this, how many opportunities they're going to have to utilize these enchanted minions, shove them up, get these turrets, and get as much map control as they can with this buff that they managed. Tier 2 goes down pretty much instantly, and FlyQuest is not able to defend it at all. Chaos Storm.
Another laning Chaos Storm here, trying to get some damage, chunk him out.
I mean, it clears the wave away, but at the same time, now they know they're like, hey, if we want to force some kind of a crazy fight, that's not there.
Just got to keep track of the big cooldowns for the team fight that comes up, and they're right back onto the field, so it's a possibility. DoubleLift would hang back a little bit more, though, if they're actually looking for it. Kind of give a tell there that he's looking for an Ashe arrow. Not the case currently, as Team Liquid do put a couple more wards down. They're trying to move up a little bit into FlyQuest territory. FlyQuest still with that gold lead we mentioned, but it just starts to mean less and less as time goes on here.
Yep, Liquid taking baby steps into enemy territory, just making sure they play this one slow and steady. Pushing up the lines, inch at a time. Now the ultimate's going to be used bottom side. Arrow comes out, ball's going to be stunned up, high into the back line, taken down instantly. Lourlo grabbed that kill, as Moon is going to be the target next. Lourlo still just not taking any damage at all, Kobe. They have to hit this guy for years and years, and it just does not matter with their mid laner dead. FlyQuest now having to deal with the prospect of defending this without him. ReignOver eating a couple auto attacks from Altec, but the traps aren't going to be enough to keep that tier 3 alive, and Liquid will break open the base.
Well done there from Team Liquid. Another nice Weaver's Wall from Piglet. Look at that, 4th time is the charm.
4th time did it.
Multiple good plays from Piglet this game. Still 0 deaths. Just needs 1 series to learn it. The champion, no problem.
That was the practice time. Today, the Weaver's Walls have been blocking off Barons, they've been blocking off turrets, they've been blocking off dragons. He's honestly used them in pretty much every big objective fight, and they've worked really well. Team Liquid showing that they've got faith in Piglet, showing that they've got faith in his Taliyah. It's paying off this game. Leandri's Torment, Morello Namicon, Abyssal Scepter, he's pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely strong. The team working well together. They do have a very standard, move forward here with super tanky front line. Ashe arrow once again at the ready for DoubleLift. They spy any members of FlyQuest out in the open. Good look to pressure once again. 45 seconds left on that Elder Dragon. And there's another picture of Liquid Weaver Wall here from Piglet. He jumped off a little bit early into Lemonnation there, but just a support, and he flashed away from it off screen. So it did cost him 1 extra summoner spell, but definitely worth it there as they were able to get the turret, plus a bunch of kills, plus inhibitors.
Yeah, for what they got, I'd say Flash any day. You'd trade that for that, but Baron power play around 3,700 gold. It popped up on your screen just a moment ago, but that's a pretty solid one. Normally, Baron power play is around 3 to 4K. That's exactly what Liquid was able to get. They're happy with that. It put them in a spot where they were on their back foot, and now they're in control again. And with Elder Drake spawning, FlyQuest knows that they cannot just give this one away to Liquid. They've got to prevent this from falling into their hands, further enchanting those multiple Drakes that Liquid was able to pick up.
Definitely looking very scary here for FlyQuest. This extremely tanky Maokai now has a Guardian Angel, and here they go on to Piglet, though. They got him.
Not where he needed to be. Caught out, isolated, and brought down. Now Liquid having to find a way to deal with this situation. 4v5, FlyQuest moving in towards the Elder Drake.
4v5 through a Caitlyn trap line. Lolo's going to eat the first, and everyone else would have to funnel behind him, which would set up lasers really nicely. FlyQuest forcing.
Ball's going in, trying to make this happen, but DoubleLift going to be burning him down so fast. Guardian Angel will bring him back here in a couple of moments. Lourlo going to be seeing the same fate for himself. ReignOver trying to retreat. Guardian Angel still available onto him. Lourlo going to be brought down for real this time. Elder Drake still at about half HP. Matt blocking the ace in the hole onto ReignOver. Void Spike still being fired off. FlyQuest will take the Elder Drake.
Just a 1 Elemental Drake Elder Dragon here for FlyQuest. So Team Liquid decide not to go for the suicidal steal from ReignOver, and they just back off instead. Definitely something back here for FlyQuest, so let's see what they can do with this extra power added to their team fight. You can see there, even the 4 versus 5, Renekton got melted pretty quickly. Both Guardian Angels of both tanks are now on cooldown. And it's just the jungle guardian angel here for ReignOver that will be left up for the next fight.
Back and forth, and every single time, neither one of these teams will end up giving it away. This is going to be one of those games that we don't know who will actually be the winner until the very last team fight dust settles. But 38 minutes into the match, we're getting closer and closer towards that late game potential. Lot of players completing multiple 4th, 5th items now. You can see the Mortal Reminder and the Mercurial Scimitar completed onto Altec. Lord Dominic's Regards and QSS completed over there for DoubleLift. Both of those two respecting the CC coming out from the enemy teams, wanting to make sure they can cleanse that, prevent that catch opportunity.
Yep. And even as we get to the 6-item stage pretty soon here, with everybody trying to fill in their last slot, there's no really catching up to the Maokai again. We can revisit why he scales so well, and a lot of it does have to do not only with his passive for self-healing, but his ultimate with that 20% damage reduction from any non-turret source is just, there's no way Renekton can ever get to that same level. As long as Lourlo puts up the ultimate, should be able to last longer on the front line, because Caitlyn and AShe pretty comparable at the moment as far as tank busting. DoubleLift might even be a little bit ahead there with the Blade of the Ruined King helping with percentage health.
Well, Balls has got tanky. Remember, he started this off with just HP. So at least stacking the armor now, he's a little bit more effective, but Mortal Reminder will also shut down plenty of that. Well, Lord Dominic's Regards, I should say. Mortal Reminder actually on Altec this game. Team Liquid holding the line near the Baron Pit. FlyQuest looking for an opportunity with Moon's ultimate. Not exactly getting too close with it just yet. Arrow gets fired off. Moon going to be jumped on. That might be what they're looking for. Oh! Going to be cast out. ReignOver grabbing the kill onto High. Ball's going to be going down next. And FlyQuest is being absolutely destroyed. Lemonnation going to be jumped on next. He's bursted down. Moon in retreat. Altec in retreat. Bad news, boys. You're running backwards, and Team Liquid has the ace for 0.
DoubleLift with the arrow to the head right in Moon's face, and the easy fall up there from Team Liquid. ReignOver stuck around the side. It looked like he just soloed High right off the bat, taking enemy mage off the table. Super clean. Nobody dying.
Is this the end of the game?
Probably. Flashes are being expended inside the base. I would signal rush on the Nexus here.
We're smiting the melee minions. We're rushing towards the base. The Nexus turrets are just dissolving in front of our eyes. And Team Liquid, I said we wouldn't know until the last team fight settled, and that was it, Kobe. They're going up 1-0.
Team Liquid take down TSM yesterday. Open up here 1-0 versus FlyQuest. They are making a late season surge. Just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time. They don't want to be going to that promotion tournament.
They definitely do not. Made a lot of moves to make sure that they don't. We'll see though, because more games are left to play in this series, and FlyQuest have a chance to bounce back. That game though, look quite good there from Team Liquid, especially the bottom lane. We thought it might be a problem. Did go very well for DoubleLift down there. They got the 2v2 kill. Then ReignOver was able to move down to that side of the map, and they played off that strong area for themselves. FlyQuest going to make a couple adjustments, you would think, going into game number 2, especially around that area.
Yeah, FlyQuest will have to make those adjustments, and we can't forget that Team Liquid also had some errors of their own. The botched dive, trying to make the play when they were up 3-0 in the bottom lane. That was a really tragic mistake for them.
Definitely want to avoid doing that again.
Yeah,
no repeat there.
If we could pick something on the list that we don't want to do again, kill 3 of our own guys after having a 3-0 lead would probably be pretty high on the list. But we're going to go ahead and head things over to Dash and the analyst to give us their thoughts on the game. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Team Liquid, I mean, week 9 must be,
figured it out finally.
It's the savior week for them here, getting the first win in the series against FlyQuest. Of course, they still have to win the series as a whole to snag 8th place. Just this game win won't do it. On the side of FlyQuest, remember that all they need to do is win a single game within this series to qualify for playoffs. So still very much alive, and funnily enough, there's a situation where both these teams end up happy coming out of this series to some degree. But let's break this one down, because once again, we saw some early kills picked up by Team Liquid. also centered around the bot lane. So definitely seeing their way to victory through DoubleLift, but some rather now very characteristic mistakes of Team Liquid to kind of make it an even game through the mid game and come down to a final fight, you know, a late game team fight.
There's definitely still some coordination issues that exist on this team where, okay, your bot lane, they're getting kills on their own. ReignOver has a good job catching Moon out and they get a kill there. And then when they try and make their big play, like the kind of back-breaking play where you get this 4-man dive in the bot lane, they totally botch it. Like people are getting targeted by the turret kind of at random. They're not focusing on the same target. And it gets totally turned around. They lose the first turret of the game, which is like, you have the opportunity to kind of put the nail in the coffin right there, and they let it slip away. And it almost feels like that happens every time where TL can, you know, they have great early games on and off. They had one against C9 previously.
Ooh, except in the mid lane.
Yeah, except in the mid lane. If you want, I don't know if you want to talk
You
about
want to
that.
look at this one of the stats.
You want to tackle that?
Yeah, maybe no, forget about that point.
Well, okay, but let's talk about the mid lane here because actually the Baron secure by Team Liquid in the mid game was a result of a good Taliyah ult from Piglet, helping secure that Baron, and there's been a lot of criticism thrown towards him, especially on this pick, let alone the mid lane as a whole.
I mean, it seems just kind of a little bit bizarre to me because it's his 4th straight Taliyah game. I feel like Taliyah is a very hard champion to play. I feel like if you're not an absolute master of it, if you're not roaming well, if you're not getting a lot done, you don't have a combat ultimate, you're not really a supportive champion. So your effectiveness is super low if you're not just doing really well, right? And in general, Piglet has had a good game here or there on it, but he's almost always losing lane. I mean, if you look at his laning stats, yes, there are games where he has one lane, but he's 12th in the league on CSD, 12th in the league gold differential. Like that means not only is he last, he's worse than the 2 people who played subs for mid lane.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got worse stats than the guy who he replaced in the mid lane. I do want to take a look at the final fight of the game, 5-0 for Team Liquid, because he actually does play out this fight quite well. So it's what you're speaking to, Isaiah, where there are some moments of brilliance or good play from him, but as a whole, is it worth the hole that he, finds himself in from lane phase to get something like this in the late game?
I mean, it's a hard question, but even in this fight, I mean, the ultimate was okay.
I'll answer it.
The ultimate was okay, but even his ultimate there, what does it really split up? ReignOver's already on the AD. The ultimate actually ends up locking ReignOver into it, and he gets stuck on it. So the only person he actually disrupts with that is his own jungler. Like,
that team fight was basically high split away from the team and let himself get sold out, and then it's too hard to win without your late game Viktor with a Maokai running at you. So, and then to top it off, everyone kept flashing the Maokai on top of Moon. Moon was trying to run away. It happened twice in that fight. And like you said, ReignOver got boxed out from being able to go off on Kha'Zix and get the resets because the Taliyah ult blocked him out of the fight.
And I mean, the fact of the matter is, just even looking at the damage charts, when your Taliyah, who is like a pretty high consistent DPS teamfight mage, is doing significantly less damage than your Kha'Zix, right? You're probably not the reason you won the game. Like in that case, you're more winning in spite of the person instead of because of them. And I think that Piglet can have some solid games, but to me, Team Liquid's recipe for success has been bot lane dominance. I think Lourlo has been solid, but it's always been when ReignOver has a good game, it's enough extra that they win because their lanes are solid, especially top and bot. So if you get them going with ReignOver, then you can take over. But just the lanes winning by themselves is not enough.
And it's a similar story with FlyQuest, where it feels like Moon has become very hit or miss compared to the beginning of the season where he was almost always going off. Now, if he doesn't get off the ground extremely early on, he tends to kind of fall behind and lack the ability to make a lot of plays. We saw him kind of bump into ReignOver in the jungle and get killed in his own jungle. So that's a big concern if Moon is not able to find an opening at the start of these games in this series. It might be the case where FlyQuest is unable to pick up a game win here.
That's the thing. We got a glimpse of FlyQuest there as you were speaking, and nobody looked very happy there to take the loss. And of course, they're probably very aware of the playoff situation, knowing that, hey, all we need to do is pick up a game victory. But even still, you'd like to end the season on a series victory, and that's what's going to put so much importance here on Game 2, because it is do or die time for FlyQuest and their qualification.
It's the most important game of the season for them, right? Like this game is your whole season at this point. If you lose, your season was essentially a failure. I mean, we heard Balls top of the day talking, if you don't make playoffs, the season is essentially a disappointment. It's a wash.
So what does FlyQuest do? Because I'm going to kind of bring these two things together. Player of the game goes to DoubleLift, and as we mentioned, Team Liquid has found some strong lanes, and if ReignOver can get those lanes going, they have found success. How does FlyQuest in particular deal with the focus around bot lane that Team Liquid has been bringing most recently?
Well, the scary thing for me is the fact that they did try to do what I would have suggested, which is get a good lane matchup and just don't let yourself get bullied in the early game. And with Zyra, they still died and lost that lane, which is the scary thing, is that you're picking almost the most lane dominant thing you can take right now. And so I don't know how else they will do it. Maybe you take a more go for the AShe, something that can survive the laning phase, be useful later on. So you can look at these other strategies, but if they can't find a lane matchup that they're happy with, they're in a lot of trouble.
I think you play to your strengths, not your weaknesses. You play passively bot lane, play something like Nami Ezreal or whatever, farm under your turret, and exploit the clear weakness on TL. Try to snowball high, focus Piglet in the mid lane. I mean, pull a TSM, send Moon mid lane over and over, draft a good 2v2 type composition there, and I think that's your key to winning because Taliyah is easily exploitable.
Yeah, don't just send Moon, send balls too. We've seen this team throw balls down there a lot, right? Trade top laner flash for mid laner flash, secure early kills, and maybe attacking the mid lane, and Piglet will be the recipe for success for FlyQuest. Let's see, though, if Team Liquid can finish off a 2-0 to dodge the promotion tournament, or if FlyQuest can strike back. Don't touch that browser.